Hi, my name's Matt and I'd like to welcome you to this Zindiac video, which is the introduction to our ITIL 4 Foundation training course, which we've designed specifically to help you pass the ITIL 4 Foundation examination in the most efficient and effective way. So let's start off by having a look at the syllabus for the ITIL 4 Foundation exam. And as you can see, the exam lasts for 60 minutes, 1 hour, unless you're taking it in your non-native language, and then you get an extra 15 minutes. Although most people I find tend to finish it in between 20 minutes and 40 minutes. If you're taking less than 20 minutes, you're probably rushing a little bit and increasing your risk of not passing. If you take longer than 40 minutes, then you've probably had it so drilled into you at school that you should use every minute of the exam that you're sat there checking your answers over and over again. The pass mark you require is 26 out of 40 or 65%. And you can see on the slide the breakdown of the 40 questions. And in particular, I've highlighted the 3 areas really where the bulk of the marks are going to come from. So we've got the ITIL principles. There are 6 questions on the 7 ITIL principles, and also from the ITIL practices. So we've got the 15 ITIL practices where you need to know the purpose and the key terms, and there are 7 exam marks for that. And then we've got the 7 ITIL practices that you need to, again, know the purpose and key terms for, but also know in a little bit more detail, and there are 70 marks there. So 24 marks on the ITIL practices, 6 marks on the principles, so 30 out of the 40, 3/4 of the exam just on those areas. So they're the areas to really focus on when you're revising. Not surprisingly, what we cover in the course is the syllabus, so broken down into 3 key areas: key concepts of service management, key concepts of ITIL, and the introduction to the ITIL practices. So there are 34 ITIL practices in total. You don't need to know them all for the exam, and therefore we don't cover them all in this course, just the ones you need to know. Before I talk any more about ITIL, I just want to introduce you to the concept of abstraction. And I've got an example here on the slide, which I'm sure many of you are familiar with, the London Underground map. And the London Underground map is an abstraction. It is a representation of the London Underground that allows us to navigate our journey in a simple way, but it doesn't represent the reality of the underground tube system in the real world. The second map there does, and you can see it's much more complicated, which is why we find dealing with the abstraction simpler. So if I want to take a simple journey from, let's say, Clapham South to Bank, I know I need to get on the Northern Line. I can see that quite simply using that map. When I arrive at Bank, if I want to know which exit to take so that I come out on the correct side of the correct road, so perhaps I want to come out on the north side of Cheapside, then I need a different map. I'll need the map of Bank Station that will help me navigate that. So I need to drill down into another abstraction that is more detailed. And what we'll find as we go through ITIL 4 is that ITIL provides us with various abstractions: the service value system, the service value chain, the 4 dimensions model, and the ITIL practices that enable us to understand in a quick and easy way what's happening in the real world, and then focus on particular areas at different levels of abstraction. And that's why I've introduced you to that concept here before we move on and look at the actual ITIL concepts. The first thing we'll introduce you to on the course is key concepts of service management, and particularly around the concept of value and the delivery and co-creation of value as we now focus on in ITIL. So rather than the service provider delivering value to the customer, we recognise that the service provider delivers the potential to create value to the customer, but the customer is required to contribute to its own value creation. The customer has to engage in the service provider is providing and use that service in order to create value. So it's very much a co-creation of value between the customer and the service provider. ITIL also provides the 4 dimensions model, and this is really provided to ensure that we have a holistic view of the service, and particularly if we're providing an IT service, a digital service, there is a temptation to focus on the technology, but that is just one of the 4 dimensions. In fact, as it is now, information and technology is one of the 4 dimensions. But we also need an equal level of focus on the other 3 dimensions: organizations and people, partners and suppliers, value streams and processes, in order to deliver the products and services that will co-create the maximum value for the customer. And you can see around the outside as well, we want to take into consideration those external factors defined by the PESTEL acronym: political, economical, social, technological, legal and environmental factors. We need to take those into consideration as well, because they will affect our service. The highest level of abstraction in ITIL is the service value system, and you can see it there. It addresses opportunity and demand, and through the service value chain delivers products and services that enable us to co-create value with the customer. The ITIL guiding principles form the foundation of our service. Governance is how we control it. The ITIL practices provide us with detailed guidance, and of course we want to continually improve everything we do, and the importance of continual improvement within ITIL is emphasised by the fact that it is included not just in the service value system, but also, as you can see on this slide, the service value chain, and also there is an ITIL practice for continual improvement. So it's at every level to emphasise its importance. The service value chain itself is an operating model that defines 6 key activities that are required to address demand and facilitate value co-creation with the customer. And you can see on the slide the 6 activities there: engage, plan, design and transition, obtain, build, deliver and support, and of course improve. The 34 ITIL practices provide us with more detailed guidance, and you can see them all listed there on the slide. But as I said before, we don't need to know them all for the exam. The ones in blue aren't covered in the exam and therefore aren't covered in the course. The ones highlighted in red are the ones we need to know the purpose and key terms for, and those highlighted in purple are the 7 that we need to know in more detail. And you can see the 7 there: change enablement, incident management, problem management, service desk, service level management, service request management, and continual improvement. They're very much the practices that, if you're a service desk analyst, are either part of your job or most closely aligned with your role. So the new ITIL 4 Foundation exam really is much better than the old ITIL version 3 Foundation exam, particularly for those people working on the service desk. There are 24 ITIL terms that you need to know for the exam, and of course we cover them in the videos on the course, but we also provide a syllabus glossary which has the definition of all 24 terms in it to help you with your revision. And of course, one of the keys to passing the exam is practice, 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 or proper preparation prevents poor performance. and proper preparation definitely involves taking the 2 sample papers, and of course the course includes the 2 official sample papers and the rationale which gives you the answers. As well as this course, we also provide an ITIL 4 exam preparation app which is available on iOS and Android and has over 1,000 questions and over 1 million question answer combinations. So it really does enable you to prepare properly for the exam and just practice questions, and you can see there are questions on all areas of the syllabus. So if you do have a weak area in the syllabus, you can just practice questions until it's no longer a weakness and it is indeed a strength. The ultimate goal, of course, is that you take the ITIL 4 Foundation exam, and of course the ITIL 4 Foundation exam voucher is included within the price of our course, the official PeopleCert exam, which you will take online with PeopleCert. And the course is really designed along with the app to give you the best possible preparation so that you succeed when you take the exam, and then you will have your own ITIL Foundation certificate that you can share with your friends and display on LinkedIn. I hope you've enjoyed this introduction to our ITIL 4 Foundation training course. Until you see me again, have a great day.